In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom. The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running because the winner don't quit on themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rhonda Fox, and I am the National Women's Engagement Director here at Harris for President. I'm thrilled to have you join our first Women for Harris National Organizing Call. We've been blown away by the more than 30,000 women who have signed up for this call. The energy and the enthusiasm is incredible. Tonight, we have an exciting lineup, and we hope you will leave feeling inspired and ready to take action. Now, before we get in today's call, I have an ask. Please, will you give 47 for 47? So if you're fired up and you're ready to elect Kamala Harris as the 47th President of the United States of America, grab your phone and scan the QR code on the screen. So whether it's $4.70, $47, or $470, please donate what you can to help us mobilize women voters all across the nation.
Hi, everybody. I am actually not even in Michigan. I'm in Pennsylvania today for the Harris campaign. I was in New Hampshire at the end of last week, and we have seen record crowds at all of our events. I just got done with Josh Shapiro here in Philadelphia. We were expecting 200 people. We had 1,300. People are fired up. But we also know that in critical swing states like Josh's and mine and Wisconsin and a handful of others, this is a dead heat. So it is a joyful group of happy warriors that got to continue to do this work together. So I hope that tonight you will say, what can I do every day for the next 99 days to help us make sure that we elect President Kamala Harris. Thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for your enthusiasm. Let's roll up our sleeves and keep doing the work. And on November 6th and January 20th of next year, we'll be calling her Madam President.
We're going to go over to the incomparable, to the amazing, to the trailblazing Gloria Steinem. Over to you, Gloria.
Thank you for that incredible introduction. I'll do my best to live up to it. But in fact, I know that the leadership of Kamala Harris is going to allow us women, the female half of the population, for the first time to earn and show that we deserve all of those adjectives. And I'm here with a room full of
a bunch of rowdy friends. Very rowdy friends.
And I do invite all your rowdy friends to your living room and have a party and support Kamala.
Right. Absolutely. I'm Carol Jenkins, one of Gloria's more rowdy friends, although this assemblage has proven itself worthy of Kamala Harris, let me say. We are so excited. This is a tremendous night for us to be here. And we are so lucky, and Kamala is so lucky that it is in Gloria's living room, which has sprung a movement, which has sprung thousands of feminists and leaders and hundreds of organizations and a lot of fun.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nikki M. James, and I have the distinct pleasure of playing Ida B. Wells 8 times a week on Broadway in a musical called Suffs, which portrays the passing of the 19th Amendment, where us women got the right to vote.
That's right. But for that.
Yeah. Ida was a crusader. Ida was a fighter. Ida is now part of me, and I'm so, so proud to be portraying her during this really historic moment. And I just want to share a quick anecdote with you all. When President Biden announced that he was no longer going to be seeking the reelection for the presidency and then later endorsed the incredible Vice President Kamala Harris, we were performing a 3 p.m. matinee on that Sunday. And as the curtain rose on stage at the Music Box Theater for a show about women making change, changing the world, our audience started chanting completely organically, Kamala, 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 Kamala. And we were deeply moved. It was an inspiring moment. The tides are changing. People are out there. We want change. We want Kamala. Please get out there and vote. And if you ever have a question or a doubt, you can just remember this shirt and think, what would Ida do? And she would vote Kamala.
We're teenage girls whose rights and future have been decided by men in the White House. So far. We have to wait years to vote, but our country's future will be decided in less than 100 days. This year, our voices don't come with the vote. So we beg everyone who can hear this to fight for the people who want to vote, but can't. The health of our planet depends on you. Our right to an abortion depends on you. Our democracy depends on you. We have to get this right. And that means electing Kamala Harris president. We are trusting you with our futures. Please do not let us down.
Well, hello, and what an exciting night. Well, 4 years ago, I was in the midst, like all of you, of a global pandemic. I was spending time with my parents in rural South Carolina in my little small town of 1,400 people on the dirt road that I grew up on. And that day, myself, along with many of my fellow Black women leaders, came together out of our collective concern and outrage to the narrative as it related to the conversation of who would be the next vice president of the United States. And like so many Black women that had came before me who has been organizing for years, we were propelled to act out of the spirit of leaders like a Mignon Moore, a Donna Brazile, a Bishop Leah Daughtry, Yolanda Caraway, the Melanie Campbells of the world, who were taught by the Dr. Dorothy Irene Heights, the Cicely Tysons, the C. Dolores Tuckers, and the Fannie Lou Hamers, and the Rosa Parks, and so many others. I could call all of their names, but we came together to speak out against what we knew was wrong. And it would be a full circle moment that 4 years later, after organizing and meeting on most Sunday nights, that the moment would come that our Sunday night calls would shift to a momentous moment where we would come together in our collective unity to stand in solidarity and enjoy to say that we are in full support of Kamala Harris becoming the next president of the United States. What I know and what we all know is that it is so important, not only because of the history that she will make, not only because of the fact that representation actually matters, but also she is the best candidate for the position. I have known Kamala Harris for many, many years, actually dating back to 2009 during my time at the NAACP when I was the senior advisor to the president. I'll never forget, and I've often shared this story, of her being a district attorney, doing everything she could to come to a meeting with a major retailer to ensure that they heard the importance of criminal justice reform. That's the Kamala Harris that I know. And throughout the years, whether she's been district attorney, attorney general, United States senator, or the vice president of the United States, she has always stood for the people, much like Shirley Chisholm, who she often talks about as an inspiration. In this moment, I know that, yes, Black women, we are so on fire and we have been so engaged through the Win with Black Women Network. But what we know is that united is how we will win. And we are so proud and so honored to see all of the action and movement that has happened this week by everybody who knows that they belong at the table. The late, great Shirley Chisholm, my soror, said, if they don't let you at the table, then you should bring a folding chair. And what I feel now is that women everywhere, we are building a new table, and we're making sure that there is a seat for everyone at the table. And that is the unity that Kamala Harris is bringing to this country. That is the unity that will help us win and drive out the divisiveness that Donald Trump is trying to bring to this country. The unification around Kamala Harris is the light that we need. It will drive out darkness, and most importantly, it will take America in the direction that we know that it belongs. And that is forward, forward, forward. Thank you so much. And I pass it over to my sister, Shannon Watts.
Joteka, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be introduced by you, in large part because you have been my inspiration over the last week. Just a few hours after President Biden endorsed Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States, I watched Joteka and Win with Black Women instantly mobilize to uplift and support the vice president. Black women have always been at the vanguard of activism, social justice, and feminism in America. And Joteka's leadership that day made me wonder whether white women could and would honor and follow her lead. So 2 days later, I tweeted, it's time for white women to organize a conference call like Black women and men have held. Who's in? And the response was overwhelming, to say the least. A Zoom gathering quickly came together for about 200,000 women who activated their privilege and their platforms and had a conversation about how the majority of white women in this country have historically voted against the needs of the most marginalized, including in the last two presidential elections. We also affirmed our commitment to finally step up, to organize, and to help save democracy. We raised over I don't want to get this wrong. We raised over $11 million for Kamala Harris's campaign. And we committed to join the broader coalition. This coalition gathered here tonight to help elect the first woman, the first Black woman, the first AAPI woman as president. So to be clear, the Zoom we organized wasn't successful because of our organizing. It was successful because of the energy, the excitement, the hope that Kamala Harris commands. She has the experience and the skill and the compassion and the courage we need. And as Joteka said, it will be women united who help get her over the finish line. I know that because I spent the last decade organizing millions of women all across the country as the founder of Moms Demand Action. I know firsthand the impact we have when we unite to use our economic and our political power for good. Women are the secret sauce of organizing and forcing change. We find strength in the community of other women when we work together for a common cause. We are remarkably resilient and adaptable in the face of challenge. Basically, we show up and we get shit done. It will not be easy. When women unify like we are tonight on this call, it represents a massive threat to the patriarchs and the autocrats who want to reverse our progress. They will try to silence our voices and our votes. They will flood this campaign with vile racism, misogyny, and hate to try and divide us. But if we stay vigilant, if we band together like we are right now, they will not only fail to divide us, they will actually strengthen us. Every single one of you on this call tonight is an organizer. You are a leader. You are an influencer. And you can step into that power just by simply deciding to do something, anything. So tonight, write down 3 things that you are willing to do in the next 99 days. Host a house party, organize a phone bank, plan a fundraiser, put a weekend on your calendar where you and 5 friends knock doors in a battleground state. We have 99 days to help save the world. When we look back, whether it's in 100 days or 50 years, let's remember this gathering as the one that brought us all together so that together we could change history. If the hundreds of thousands of women on this call tonight commit to doing the work every day for 99 days, we will win in a landslide.
It is about this moment. Over 12 years ago, I sat in a Brooklyn cafe with Kimberly Peeler Allen, and we developed a pathway for a moment as this. Higher Heights is the political home for Black women, a place for Black women to be informed, engage, and to take action. And over 12 years ago, we started to dream of the possibilities that exist for women's leadership. And what we found stepping into 2024 is that when you fire up a Black woman, she doesn't go to the polls alone. She brings her house, her block, her church, her sorority, and her union. What makes this call uniquely important tonight is that we are stronger together, that women of all walks of life have come together tonight to flex our political power and make a little history in the moment. That being said, what do we need to do? We need to take 5 people to the polls, and that's the work of Higher Heights. We're going to engage our network of 250,000 Black women this cycle to text their neighbors, organize their neighbors, open up their homes, because we believe that Kamala Harris is the leadership for this moment. Maya Angelou once said, "I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. And Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris's multiple identities are her superpower in this moment. And so we each see a little bit of ourselves in Vice President Kamala Harris. She stands in a moment where she will be able to use not only her lived experiences, but her qualifications to move this country to higher heights. So ladies, on this call, we have to believe not only in the possibilities of women's leadership in this moment, but our ability to organize a community of upswells so that we can bring everybody to the polls. Last April, I had an opportunity to go to Ghana with the vice president, her first trip to the continent, showing that she is primed and ready to continue to lead on a global stage. That day, we said, "We will follow you anywhere, Vice President." And what she said, and I think rings true tonight, that we are on this journey with her together. Sisters from all walks of life have energized from the call that Win with Black Women did last week to this call. We are calling our sisters to come together this evening. And we know that our strength to include our voices in this moment, Black women want what our neighbors want. We want economically thriving, educated, healthy, and safe communities. And with the right leadership, from the White House to our city halls across this country, we have an opportunity to elect Black women and women that share our values. So tonight, we continue to celebrate this historic moment. And tomorrow we'll continue to organize, mobilize, and fight to be able to bring this country to higher heights.
I was asked to speak to you all today about why I support the amazing Kamala Harris for president. Now, I can say it's because I'm a Black woman, or because I'm a 31-year strong member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, or even that I was accepted to the Mecca, Howard University, and regret not being able to attend. But all of that is just a list of the things I have in common with the amazing Kamala Harris. The reason I support her as our next president is because I have met her and interviewed her and spent an evening at a small gathering with her where we were free to ask her anything, and she answered back freely. I know her to be smart, real, joyful, principled, tested, qualified, and if I might dip a toe into my Bible bag, positioned like Queen Esther to speak up and fight for us all because she was made for a time such as this. A time where we as a country are facing a criminal menace, hoping to use a seat behind the Resolute desk as a way to escape his crimes. A time where a few rogue members of the Supreme Court have decided women and people of color and those who live or love in ways they don't like should lose their rights. A time where climate change, gun violence, healthcare breakdowns, pay disparities, and educational barriers like book banning and criminalizing teachers for teaching American history exist. Though those who are terrified of Kamala Harris becoming president would say that this is about diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's not it. They are scared of her leading this country because they know that just like affirmative action, this is not about someone unqualified getting a chance. No, this is about knowing how qualified she is. Elected District Attorney of San Francisco, elected Attorney General of California, elected United States Senator, elected Vice President of the United States of America. I stress elected because nobody gave Kamala Harris a doggone thing except for us, the voters who believed in her and voted for her in every one of those elections that she won, giving her the chance to show again and again and again just how qualified she is to lead. Not because she's a woman, not because she's Black, not because she's South Asian, not even because she's an AKA, but because she is an intelligent, degreed, elected, dynamic force of nature, determined to get into as much good trouble as she can for the good of us all. There are no sides in America. Only those with an agenda seek to divide. We have always been stronger together. Remember that. Now, the marching orders. Here's what I need each of you to do. As my Sora Rhonda has said a few times, please text the word women to 30330. That one move will get you on the list to receive all the information on how you can help in this movement. Number 2, fight against any mis or disinformation you see online. For every lie they tell about her record or her character, tell the truth. Kamala HQ has all the information you need. And 3, speak up about what you love about Kamala Harris and the good she and President Biden did for our country. The list is long. Find the one thing that you personally love and sing that song. Use your platform. And your platform is simply your sphere of influence. That can be a lot of followers on social media, but it can also be your local book club or PTA meeting. It can be the person next to you in the frozen food section or behind you in the line where you get your coffee. You have more ways to impact this election than you know. Use every opportunity to speak about what's at stake and why Kamala Harris is the right choice on November 5th. We can change the trajectory of this country in 99 days. We can do that, but it will take every single one of us to do it. Now, there are a lot of other amazing women to come this evening. My girls, Ana Navarro and Aijen Poo, distinguished members of Congress like Senator LaFonza Butler. And then Chelsea Clinton will be closing us out by detailing the lessons learned after her mother's historic run. Please stay with us for all of it. I am beyond honored to have been asked to speak to all of you on behalf of the amazing Kamala Harris. I believe in her, and I believe in all of us. Together, we can ensure that this wonderful servant leader is the next president of the United States. Let's do that. Let's go!
Hi, guys. It's so great to be here. It's spectacular. It's spectacular that we're all here today. It's truly a marvel, and it's a movement. I think we've all felt it, starting from that Sunday afternoon 8 days ago when Kamala Harris stepped forward into the light after Joe Biden's historic decision to step down. There's been a joy, right? An enthusiasm and a cohesion to get Kamala Harris elected. And now here we are. What are we, 250,000 strong here today, unified in this one cause. And this enthusiasm and this activation that we've all been talking about, that we've all been feeling so profoundly, that's the part that I want us to focus on. We had no idea until that Sunday afternoon how hopeful and galvanized we could feel. Women and men of every ethnicity and every background, young people, guys, young people. Now we have this refreshed and renewed curiosity and openness and hope. And this is what we women, all of us, knowing that when you want to get shit done, just get us together, get us together, watch us ride, let us do our thing. We know that we united in our beautiful diversity can capitalize on this new availability of our people, our neighbors, our families, our communities, to understand what a powerful moment this is, to join together using this time, our voices, and standing up simply for what our values are, from the most personal and intimate to the most visionary and necessary for government, society, and democracy. And I personally do not believe this is a moment to get caught up in the mire of statistics and data points and polling, and certainly not the oppressive and destructive rhetoric of the opposing presidential candidate and his running mate and the division that they intend to create. No. This is the moment to ride this wave, this new wave of our new and clear-eyed leadership, vision, and inspiration via Kamala Harris. Because we know, all of us gathered here in the midst of our multitudes of difference, we know what we're capable of doing together. And there's nothing more powerful than the instinct, insight, and intelligence of a united group of diverse women. And isn't it interesting how the goal of getting Kamala elected can include all of us? It's joined us all together into this amazing unit. This imperative to get Kamala elected can embody all of our difference. Each one of us, unique, singular, down to the last chromosome, none like the other, and yet activated in this essential movement of unity for self, family, and country. So here we are, shoulder to shoulder. We've got our marching orders. Time to get to work. We've got a job to do, y'all, and we've got each other's backs. So it's time to look long and hard at what you value most, what your family values, what you need, what your community needs, what's essential, and then get out into your community. Let them know that their values matter, their voices matter, and that they can be represented. Let them know we need Kamala and everybody down ballot that represents your values. This is a moment and a movement where we know that there's a possibility that this country can represent us, all of us, unified together. Let's harness this explosion of enthusiasm and power that can change the world. Share it with everyone you know, and let's ride the wave to victory, y'all. Thanks so much. Thanks everybody for being here. It's just incredible. Keep working.
I'm Anika Kroby, chair of the High School Democrats of America and a recent high school graduate from South Carolina. I'm grateful to be here with all of you today as a young woman supporting Kamala Harris, because as Arlene said, this election is about my future, a future free of gun violence. A future where we have made investments to protect our climate before it is too late. A future where I have control over my own healthcare decisions. That's the future we secure by electing Kamala Harris. Now, I've had the privilege of meeting the vice president multiple times over the past few years, and in every instance, she has made the effort to listen to what young folks like me have to say. That's who she is. A kind person who serves for the people. This election will be my first time voting. I turn 18 this fall, but it will also be my grandmother's first time voting. She's a recently naturalized American citizen at 80 years old, and she represents exactly what the American dream means. I share this because we will both be supporting Kamala Harris this November in our first elections, because both of our rights, our freedoms, and our lives are on the line. This election affects all women from 18 to 80. As a young Indian American woman, I couldn't be more excited about electing our first South Asian and first female president. Kamala Harris has spent her life breaking glass ceilings and showing young women like me that our community matters and that we deserve a seat at the table. But more than just what she symbolizes, I know that Kamala Harris will continue to deliver results for the American people. From education to the economy, healthcare to human rights, we will demand that she push for the progress we need, and she will deliver. So let's do all we can to get her to the White House. I don't know about y'all, but I am falling out of a coconut tree to organize and mobilize, to talk to everyone I know in my life about getting out to vote. I am ready to elect Madam President Harris, a president for all generation, all women, all of us.
We certainly have heard tonight from an extraordinary group of women, both what is at stake in this election and also what is possible. And I have no doubt that Vice President Harris is uniquely positioned to both prosecute the case against Donald Trump for all of the unique dangers that he poses to our fundamental rights, the fundamental sustainability of our plan, national security, and indeed the very idea of who and what it means to be an American. I think, though, equally true is that Vice President Kamala Harris is uniquely positioned to lead us into a more hopeful, equitable, sustainable, just, prosperous, and secure future. And I know that all of us on this call are ready, as we have heard over and over again, and will keep repeating because we will never tire. We will never be fatigued. We will never be dissuaded or discouraged that she is absolutely the person that we need to elect come November. And for those of you who start voting early, come September. You know, I believed a woman could win in 2016. I believed it with all of my heart. Congresswoman Ming, when you spoke about hearing the fight song, I also got a little bit teary just now. I am, though, thankfully at the point where I can listen to the whole song. There may have been a brief period of time where I had to just, you know, turn it off or pause it and listen to it in segments. But now I can listen to the whole song because everything that I believed was possible and everything that I believed was right and good. And I knew in my marrow that we had to take Donald Trump both literally and seriously. I believe all of that even more fundamentally today. And unlike in 2016, Donald Trump is not theoretical. We now have a record that we can hold him to account for. And we have an extraordinary candidate in Vice President Harris. So while, yes, I am excited for my daughter and my sons, and I think it's equally important for my sons to be galvanized and inspired by this extraordinary woman, it is exactly because it is this extraordinary woman. It's not just any woman, it is this woman. And how lucky are we that we get to spend close to the next 100 days about talking about why she is absolutely the person that we need. Because no one deserves to live in a country like what we have put Amanda through right now. No one deserves to live in a country where it took Congresswoman Jayapal 18 years to navigate a broken immigration system. No one deserves to live in a country where we elect leaders who care only about themselves and maybe on occasion their very wealthy friends. We know exactly what we deserve as a country and exactly what Senator Butler's sweet 9-year-old Porter deserves for his future, what my children deserve, what all of our children deserve, and for what those of us without children deserve, those of us who just fundamentally believe in the promise and the premise of walking toward a more perfect union. That is not what Donald Trump represents, because that is not who he is, and that is not who he has shown himself to be, not when he was in the Oval Office, and certainly not with Project 2025. And so I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to hold that fight song in my heart. I'm going to hold freedom in my heart, and I'm going to respond to every question. I'm going to try to preempt every question. I'm certainly going to have her back, and I'm so excited to hear not only the joy, but the just strong defense that we will have of this remarkable woman that I believe in my deepest soul we will elect as our next president. I'm asked a lot, even today, like, how do you get up in the morning? And I think, well, gosh, like, thankfully 2016 was a long time ago. I've had another child. I've written more books. I've taught more classes. I've gotten the opportunity to inspire more young people. But also fundamentally, I am my mother's daughter, and she is still out here working and fighting and doing everything she can to support Vice President Harris to be our next president. And optimism is fundamentally a moral choice. And cynicism is the great resource for those who want to protect the status quo or drag us back into the dark, draconian days of yesteryear. I have no interest in going back. I have an interest in going forward. And I am going to be so proud to follow Vice President Harris into that future. Shirley Chisholm put a big crack in that glass ceiling. My mom put a few more cracks in that glass ceiling. And Vice President Harris is going to obliterate that glass ceiling, not Senator Butler early the next morning after the election, but decisively on the night. And we are going to make that happen. I have no doubt. I have full faith. I'm ready to go forward. And I am so grateful to be in this extraordinary group and so thankful. I want to add my voice to the chorus of recognizing Rhonda, and I see Adrian on the screen too, and just the extraordinary staff of the Biden-Harris and now the Harris for President campaign. Having been in a lot of campaigns, the work that Senator Butler said was full of thankless days and sleepless nights, is full of a lot of anxiety and hope, but clear-eyed purpose. So we are thankful to you. We stand shoulder to shoulder with you, and we are so thankful to follow and be led by Vice President Harris as we make her the first woman president of the United States of America.